So we are 25 now. Can we start?
Yes, sir, please. Let's start.
Okay. So basically, I was very keen on having this particular seminar in this way for a long time. Ever since if few people remember, I had carried out a small survey about 2 months ago. And I had requested as many people as possible to join it, but somehow people were apprehensive, and only about 260 or 70 odd people participated in the survey. The results of the survey were very revealing for me, and they taught me more about the new emerging landscape of the mariners, how things are happening. Because for the seniors who are already firmly into the shoes of chief engineer and master, it's almost like a ship sailing out with RFA, and there's nothing much that actually happens. Just daily noon reports, if all goes well, everything. But it's for the new joiners that there were a few revolutions which were done, and I had to actually go back again and again and see whether what I was understanding was not in error. As you know, in the field of statistics, the sample size determines everything. And somebody's audio is coming. Yeah. So basically, yeah, you can. Kumar, you can record it, no problem. But I'm also recording it. So anyway, so basically in this, one of the major features which came out was that there were no fourth engineers, there were no third engineers, no third officers who entered shipping before the age of 27. I think only one or two cases were there. I actually started sailing regularly before 27. So am I correct in my understanding, or is there an exception here who can say that no, I was there before? I mean, I recently, whoever is sailing as a third engineer or a second officer or fourth engineer and third officer, did you start sailing quite early, or were you in the same age range? You can also write.
I'm 24.
This is.
Sir, I am myself Rajeeve Ranjan.
Rajeeve Ranjan, okay. And you started sailing as a fourth engineer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's one exception, thankfully. So basically, as we can see, we are 24 of us, taking away myself and Ashutosh, that's about 22 of us. Is there somebody can tell me how I can let everybody join automatically instead of manually admitting them? Does anybody know here? Allow. I think I'll.
You can let someone else take over.
No. I'll remove the waiting room so people can join me directly, join the listing directly. I think now it should be all right. Anyway, if you can, if you have a reply or comment, you can always text it to me, and so I'll take it up from here. So we are 29 of us. So move. So basically, the thing was that I saw that the average age was 27. Now, when the average age is 27, things change. In the sense, as Chief Engineer Ashutosh would tell you, that in our time, if somebody reached 31 and did not get promoted to Chief Engineer and Master, it used to be considered something out of the ordinary. Those were the times, and we can't say good, bad, ugly, but those were the times. There were times before our time when people never used to get married before becoming a Master and Chief Engineer. few years before us, things started like you get married after at least clearing your chief engineer and masters, even if not becoming a chief engineer. Later on, it became second engineer, and I have also sailed with a fourth engineer who carried his family quite unsuccessfully, of course, but that is the way things are. So as we can see that with the challenges that are happening in shipping, the joining date has come down to 20, the age has come down to about 25 to 27. Let's put it that instead of making it very specific. So now when this happens, naturally, you will have a pressure from your parents' side also to get married, which is certainly correct by this and their expectations also. Because see, we are part of the world. The world is there, and it is we have to move according to that. We were not really born to just sail and work only. We are part of the social system, so it is very necessary that we um, go with the flow of the society. Then there are people who must be already be having girlfriends whom you already promised to get married. Now, when you get married, in either case, the family is also around the corner, which means that certainly what we were talking about earlier of retiring at 45 or retiring at 50 takes a little beating in the sense that now the responsibilities which are coming in are huge. And we also know that once you enter shipping, the first 9 to 10 years are taken up with exams till you get your final promotion, of course. So that also plays a big role. So everything changes. And another thing which also mercifully which came out from this survey was, which I was very pleasantly surprised, was that about 54% of the respondents were staying in their ancestral or parental homes, which was a very welcome thing, considering two factors: that we are still connected with the typical Indian ecosystem, and the family support to a seafarer is huge. It is immense. So when you you have accommodated yourself into that and agreed to do that, so stay in this with the parents or in the parental house with the relatives in a joint family. There are advantages. Disadvantages also, but that probably one realizes later on, if at all, depending family to family. But advantages certainly. Just give me a minute. I'll switch off the fan. Don't like it. So now the issue comes that with the moving age, you have lesser disposable income. And because of that income, you have to do a lot of things, meet your own expectations, have to start the family, which is a practical aspect of things, that you have to start a family, pay for the family. And believe me, as few of you who are senior enough would have realized that the expenses move astronomically once you get married, and even exponentially after you have a baby. So all those things do weigh on you. I did not particularly put in a question there about are you married? Oh, I don't remember that. But I think the question was there, the people had said that quite a few of the junior officers had got married. So now, in order to obviate all these things in the background of whatever I have discussed, because a lot of other things also fell in place from that survey, the fact that a lot of people did have extended number of FDs, a lot of people had not started off mutual fund investments and things like that. So I'll take just a few minutes more to make you understand that what is from my point of view you should be doing. The same thing which I said earlier, the same thing which I have been saying, that please, as soon as possible, start investing. Don't wait. If you get frustrated by going for KYC to the AMC, CAMs and all that, don't get frustrated. Just catch hold of any distributor, even if it is your bank. Just catch hold of them to start your investment, the first investment. Today, you clear your fourth engineer's exam or your second mate's exam. From tomorrow itself, you should have outlined this particular company, any company. You can ask me anytime, day or night, that which company should I invest? That is the reason I ask you which city are you from. I will just ask you that which is the closest AMC near to your home. If it is CAMS or K FinTech, I will tell you simply to go there and start your investment. KYC and investment does not have to be separate. A lot of people are doing it in that way. They are going to CAMS once, finishing the KYC, and then starting the investment. It doesn't have to be that. The first time when you go, carry your documents with you, Aadhaar, PAN, cancelled checkbook, your last contract if you have, even if you don't have, your CDC passport. Okay. Suppose you do not have any of these documents with you. Suppose you do not have an NRE account, you do not have an NR account, does not matter. Start investing as a resident, but start investing. Do not delay the purpose of investing for anything except the fact that you do not have. Shiva is jumping. so it should not be that you are that you stop for any particular reason. It is possible at that time as a fourth engineer, you do not have sufficient money, or you cannot foresee yourself that I will not be having any money. So it does not matter. You borrow from your parents, if you can, because it's not that for all your money will have got over with there for the exams. You may be having something still. Just 5,000 rupees is all that is required for the first time. But I want that process to start as soon as possible. Your term insurance, your health insurance can take a secondary position in that. But first thing is to start. Because unless you start, you will not move ahead. So even if suppose you are unable to ask anybody for the money, then make sure everything is done. All the papers are filled up. They are checked by your distributor or CAMS or any AMC which is next to your house. Just one fund of any one AMC. You tell me the AMC near to your house and I'll tell you which fund to take from there. Even if you cannot contact me, take a flexi cap fund of HDFC, Axis, ICICI, Parag Parik, which is can be done online. Start off. Doesn't matter if you have to start off as a resident because you have already lost the NRI status. You have never built an NRI status earlier. Does not matter, but it is important to start. If you are able to start it, if you are financially well off, if you are able to start it when you are already in the college, I'm sure none of you are actually being in the college right now, but if you can start when you're in the college, good enough. Anybody more than 18 years can start. You do not require a financial certificate to start your investments. I'm sure your parents will be very happy to start that for you. I mean, and you will be able to show them the results that this is what I have achieved. So the first investment in one fund, preferably a flexi cap fund of any of these AMCs that you find at the bottom of value research page, you can go in and start investing because that first step is very important. Once you go on board, you can fine tune it. It does not matter. Don't think that I had started off as a resident. Now what will happen? It doesn't matter. We will convert that account to NRO account and your KYC to a non-resident, non-repatriable KYC. And further future investments you can do out of your NRE account by doing a fresh KYC of a separate one. So this investment, you can stop at that time at whatever amount it has accumulated. But it is very important for you to understand that moving the first step is very important. If you have not moved to the first step, you'll not be able to move ahead. You would have lost that particular 1 year. I do not know the individual situation of people who are getting married at that stage, but let me tell you, it's going to be a little serious. So take it seriously. Second, what do you do? As a fourth engineer, as a third officer, you go on board. You get a first salary. Please do not splurge it around. Most of us have come from very modest backgrounds, middle-class families. We have aspirations. Aspirations need not translate themselves into physical acquisitions of an iPhone or a Bose speaker set or a multi-lakh vehicle back home. Suppose I have got two queries about this where a person is a third officer and he wants to buy a big car for his father because he says that the car which they are driving is actually quite out of shape. Now, that's very, I cannot really comment on that whether he should or he should not. But I particularly feel that if he buys even a 10 lakh car for his father would not really be happy. He will be more happy driving his own car. I mean, not unless if the father says that I need a new car, which most of the parents I know would not be saying because they know that you're working hard for it. Not at this stage. You'll be able to afford each and everything, but not in your first contract. So please, what you should try to do is you should try to utilize that money, send it back home. Your documents as a non-resident should already be there. If they are not there, does not matter. Continue to invest in your earlier fund which you had started off as a resident. Doesn't matter if all the money has to go in one place. You can select another fund in the same fund house if you want, like a small cap fund you can start, or a large and mid cap fund you can start in the same fund house, sitting on board, because you already have a fund running. You already have a folio number in, say, example, HDFC or ICICI. You have invested 5,000 rupees at the first time. You have started a SIP of 1,000 rupees. Now you have received your first salary, $3,000. That's close to 2,40,000. You send it back home. The money goes into your, if you have not opened an NRE, NRO account, money goes into your savings account. Allow your parents to spend for whatever they need to, but with the remaining, try to invest it back into your funds. Select a new fund. Select one small cap, like I said, or a large and mid cap, and you can invest in that. With the, because your KYC has already been completed for one fund, one AMC, it is valid for all. If you get a chance to do the net on board, if you don't have a net on board, you can go ashore once and start off in another AMC. Have your documents all on your hard drive or pen drive or whatever, so that you can start off your investment. So with that first money which you get, like I said, 35% must be invested that time. Why am I saying this? Is because from fourth engineer to the next engineer's exam would be 12 months of sailing, which you would have completed in about 15 to 18 months. So in that 12 months of sailing, which you will do minimum, you may be doing 13 months also. You will be collecting a lot of money in 15 months. So in this particular time, whatever you keep investing, that money would grow in 1.5 years. It is possible that the market would be down at the end of 2 years when you're down for your exams, or 1.5 years when you're down for your exam, but that market would still probably be higher than what you started investing in. But don't worry. If you do this when you started off, only 35%, because why I always say 35% is because that is the amount of money that you save off taxes by becoming a non-resident. Another thing, when you go as a fourth engineer, the first time when you're sending money to your resident account, you will not get the tax benefit. Why? Because you have sent it to your savings account. For even after becoming a non-resident Indian, if you have, your money has not come from you to the NRE account directly in India, it is not liable to be exempt from tax. So before going, you will have to open a zero balance account in any bank which allows. State Bank of India certainly allows. So the best thing is to open you have a whatever savings account wherever you have. Before you go on board, open one in your NRE, NRO, and NRE account in the same bank. All your remittances must go to your NRE account, right? So that money, out of that 35%, in the beginning does not matter. I am repeatedly saying you are sailing for only 5 to 7 months in your first contract. Doesn't matter if this money goes and it gets invested into your resident account via your resident savings account in the fund that you had started off earlier. Your remaining money will stay in your NRE. And when you complete your NRI status, your entire money would be completely free from tax. Even this money which you have invested in your mutual fund will not be liable to tax. Because most of the juniors are new, and quite a few of you have told me that your awareness about the laws are very limited. So let me tell you that whatever you invest into whichever field, whether stocks or mutual funds or gold or land, there is no income from that. So you do not pay any tax on that. When do you pay tax? You pay tax when you sell these things. If you make a profit on these things from the time that you purchased, it is called gain. If you sell it at lower, it is called loss, capital gain and capital loss. Now, for each and everything except gold, you have an indexation. For equity fund, you have an indexation. It is not, but actually indexation, you get a standard deduction of 1 lakh. In capital gains, that is, if your capital gains are 1,20,000, 1 lakh is exempted and you are taxed only for 20,000 at the rate of 10%, which means 2,000 rupees. This is only when you sell. When do you sell? You don't have to sell right now, because this is only 35% of the money. The remaining money was already in your NRE account, which you have been accumulating to do as you wish. Whether you want to make a NRE FD, fine. Whether you want to invest it more into mutual funds if you have faith and your parents really do not have any expectations from you on financial front, or if you do not have a family right now of your own, that is your wife and your child, you can continue to invest in this, right? First time when you get down, convert your savings account into NRO account with the cancelled check of both NRO and your previous savings bank account. Write a letter to the AMC and convert your KYC from resident to NRO, non-repatriable. And the entire format changes to non-resident. Now, from your NRE account, start fresh investments, because that investment you should stop now. Whatever has gone into NRO, let it be few thousand, let it be few lakhs. Keep it there. Nothing is wrong with that. It can continue for ages, from years to decades, and it will only grow. And you will see how much it grows, because you will not be touching it. Do not sell it unless it is the last resort. None of the equity funds should be sold unless it is the last resort, because you are young and you are earning. So you really don't have to fall back upon. First, we will see what should be liquidated. Now you start investing fresh from your NRE account. Make another KYC. There's a warning here that meeting will end in 10 minutes. So we will join back again after this. Just click on that link and we'll join back. Okay. So with your NRE account, you start another investment. By now, you would have understood how things move. You would have made a list of another 6 funds, which will go from your NRE account, right? You already have some money in your NRE account. You start the initial investment of 5,000, and maybe you can make a token SIP in one of them or all of them, depending upon your comfort level. And you start investing as a non-resident Indian on repatriable basis. This format of your investment will go on for life, unless you cease to be a non-resident Indian for permanent, or you take up jobs ashore in India or abroad. Then we will deal with that on as is where is basis. All right. So we will deal to that. We will see things about that. I have upgraded the meeting, so I think it will not stop in 40 minutes. That's good. So this is how the juniors would move on. This meeting is specifically dedicated to the junior officers. This is dedicated to the ratings also, and other junior officers, everybody who is in that category, who's in that limit. Prem Shankarji, I think you should mute yourself. So that is the way things are. And so that is precisely what I would stop at. And I'd like to take questions from you if you have. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, Nikhil.
I was at a very early stage in my career when I started to invest in mutual funds. So it was an SIP based on what my bank's this thing suggested, and sort of a forced SIP, I would say, but it was doing fine. And I continued it for about 5-6 years. And the trend which I saw was during demonetization, it went into negative. And I think around demonetization, after 1 year or this thing, COVID came or something happened. So the funds went into negative almost. And then I was
There was
like
4 years difference between demonetization and COVID. There was a 4-year difference.
something around that period. I don't, because it's some time back, so I don't remember exactly. But I surely remember about demonetization. From 23 to 18% the funds were doing, and it went into negative. Then again something happened, and again it went back to like 2-3%. It was then I decided to close all my mutual funds. I think an year and a half after that, 2-3% this thing. What I saw was the mutual funds were doing around 5 or 4% something. So when they reached at around 6.5, then I thought, okay, let me get at least the savings interest on it, and then I closed all my this thing. After
Okay.
that, I've not ventured into mutual funds. Reluctantly, I chose Kotak's ESG something opportunity, some fund, and some money is there. But again, I'm thinking to just withdraw this. This was all done from the bank side.
So what's your rank now?
I don't sail anymore. I was
Okay.
sailing as a third engineer in 2014, and then I shifted ashore. I'm a PNI surveyor now in Nigeria,
Okay.
Lagos.
Okay. Okay. You wrote yesterday only, right? So basically, see, there is a video which the Praneeth has released today. There is one company here. It's called JMDI, and of course, Merchant Navy Decoded. So they do some videos with me. So today only I made they have released a video which I made some time back where this topic was dealt with, that why did I lose money? So I've dealt it all the reasons in that. But my suggestion to you, because you are a non-resident still, and everybody in the world is actually investing in India. So I can only suggest that you should stay invested in India. One thing. Second thing is you should invest continuously. Doesn't matter if you have 5 lakhs or 5 crores. Your investment in India should happen continuously. It is not just because you have 5 crores that the times are very good and you should put all your money in one go. It should not happen. Even if you have 2 lakhs, divide it into at least 20 months, at least 2 years, to 20 months to 2 years, that money, because by then you will get some more money. And if the market goes down in between, you can buy some more. So just because the bank sold it to you did not mean that those funds were bad. I mean, why would a bank give you some bad funds unless they are pushing some NFO, new funds? All the people, in the room should understand that you need not go for any NFO. We have 48 mutual fund companies in India today. Each of them has about 25 equity funds. So that means all the categories are covered by all of them. There is no scope for any NFO to be made. Even when why you should avoid NFO is because there are certain amount of expenses which are allowed to these AMCs for the NFO. So they try to collect as much money as possible, because otherwise they're only getting about 0.6% if you are investing directly. But in this particular case, they get about 3%, which comes out of from your pocket, the initial investors. So that's why, firstly, there is no need to invest in any NFO, in any fund which is less than 7 to 10 years old. Simple. If you read the book which I have written, I clearly say, do not select any fund which is less than, previously I used to say 5 to 7 years. Now I say 7 to 10 years, 15 years. You should not select a fund which is doing the best this year, last year, 3 years ago. No. Select a fund which has been doing consistently well for at least 10 years. So invest slowly, and we can send a message on that group again, and I can discuss the number of funds that we can share. I always give you a choice of in each category 4-5 funds. Select any of them. The idea is to start, and the idea is to continuously move on. Invest less, because the money in the industry is not made overnight. Yes, there are times when money gets made, like post-COVID. Nobody ever thought that kind of money is made. But what people see also did not realize is that more than that, the appreciation in the equity sector has come from March 30th to till date in Indian market. It is more than what happened in 2020. So because we all are professionals, we should continue our own profession. And for a very small commission, which we pay when we take funds in direct mode, it's a very small amount you pay. It's about, if normal it is 1.8, you pay about 0.8. So go for a direct mode. You have laptops, do your own investments. And another piece of warning, because we have about 2.5 minutes of remaining time, by the way, because I have not upgraded to Pro. So let me tell you that please do not go for any of these aggregators, these apps. Invest either through CAMS, either through KFinTech, or the joint effort, which is called MF Central or MFU Online, or doesn't take too much of a time when you have only 6 AMCs to deal with, 6 funds to deal with, go directly on the website of the mutual fund and buy it from there. You will learn a lot of things in that process. Do not buy it from Zerodha because you will be buying in demat form. Mutual funds are not actually designed to be purchased in the demat form. They are supposed to be kept with as low cost as possible. So the best way is to do it through CAMS, K-Fintech, or the joint effort, or do it directly on the AMC. Even till date, I do all my transactions on this laptop only. I try to avoid doing on mobile because this is matter of money. Can I contribute a few useful points? Aditya Raje. Yeah, we'll just be breaking off from here. And after we re-check in, then we can always listen to whatever you have to suggest. So this is basically what we are going to be doing here. And whatever I have told you, I hope it comes in handy for other people as well. That's about less than 1 minute to go. So we will see. We'll just check in, we'll log in again as soon as it happens, right? So that is what I have been able to suggest. I hope other people have also been able to follow me. I'm recording this, so we will be posting this on YouTube later on. It happens. You can write your questions here, so we will get it in the next meeting also, and we can deal with them. Good evening, gentlemen. Are you able to hear me?